Today, I'm going to be taking a look at fixing the spindles on my ancient Husqvarna 0 turn because at the moment, the blades are turning 0 turns. Now, a sensible person, the sort that might have a retirement fund, would probably just go and spend $150 on brand new OEM assemblies, but since I measure my net worth in scrap metal and half-empty cans of carb cleaner, we're going to spend the next couple of hours torturing them back to life. Hopefully, without having to resort to explosives. Now, to everyone out there saying, actually, the internal seals are probably blown, or grease won't fix the flat spots on the bearings, shh. Just let me live in my temporary paradise of not having to spend money. Now, yesterday, Randy worked on getting this lift bracket off. It was seized up. He beat on that thing for about 30 minutes. He finally got it. What's that, Randy? But you need the 13 millimeter. There you go. No problem, buddy. Now what's happening with it is the motor bogs down really bad when you try to engage the blades, and if you can get the blades to work, then it throws the belt off. So I know it's an old mower, but I really kind of like it, and I hope I can get it working. Well, you got that right, Randy. Materialism really is just a temporary distraction from the inevitable entropy of the universe. Anyway, let's see if that pulley comes off. So you can see how difficult these things are to turn. You kind of get stuck. The rest of them are about the same. So hopefully I can just pull this apart, clean it up, re-grease it, and maybe it'll work after that. That came off pretty easy. And I have no idea how this goes, so maybe I should take that whole thing off right there. And hopefully that one comes off as easy as the other one. What's that, Randy? Expectation is the root of all heartache, huh? I couldn't have said it better myself. Yeehaw! See, Randy hasn't got too far on this lift bracket. Oh, it does. We've had some struggles here. I got all the spindles cleaned up and everything and greased and put them back together, and they were still binding up. Just whenever I would tighten them down, it felt like the bearings were getting sandwiched together too much, and it was causing it to bind up. So I started looking. So this one is the one that I pulled out of there. See, got it all cleaned up. This was the one that I pulled out of there, 30205, I think is what it is. But I looked up on Parts Tree, and this is the one it's calling for. This one right here doesn't have any kind of collar or anything. But this one right here, as you can see, has a little collar. So I think that collar maybe is what's keeping it from getting squeezed together too much. So I'm just going to order some new bushings for it and then see if that fixes it. What's that, Randy? You can say that again. So the new bearings came in. Earlier when I was looking at the parts list, I wasn't taking into consideration that it may be aftermarket spindles, which turned out to be aftermarket spindles. So the bearings that I was looking at on the exploded parts view was not the right bearings. But I got it all sorted out and I ordered sort of the right bearings through another series of blunders. I ordered the wrong bearings, but they're basically the same size. I'm gonna see if I can get them to work anyway. So I'm gonna put these together and put them back on the machine. It looks like Randy got that deck lifting lever on and did a pretty good job. Although I haven't seen him in about a week, I hope he's all right. I don't have fancy tools in here like bearing presses, but what I do have is a bolt. I'll show you how I use it to press these bearings. There, so I went ahead and I tapped them in with a hammer just to get them started. Even though this steel is really hard, I didn't want to hit it too much with a hammer or something like that and dent it all up. So really all I'm going to do is take this bolt, and I'm using these old bearings that came out of it because I don't want to ruin my new ones. So I'm just taking these old bearings and I'm just going to use the bolt to squeeze it in. I probably can't tell on camera, but I can look down in there and I can tell that these are pretty seated in there. That one might need to go a little bit more, but I think it's probably fine. You know what? I'm gonna squeeze it down. Yeah, I think that's better. So I'm going to slap these things together and get them on the machine. Look at that. Smooth as butter. Well, maybe chunky peanut butter. But it spins. So I'm going to put all these things back on and we'll see where we get with it. I hope Randy's okay. see if it worked. Well, I guess at least it's not completely dying. So maybe I can get some work done with it. I don't know. If anybody out there in lawnmower land has any pointers for why it bogs down so much, let me know. Until the next one.